everyone. Good morning. How's it been? Great. We are so glad that you're here on this kind of drizzly, rainy day. We ordered one sort of crummy day just so you wouldn't think it's always like it's been here in Silicon Valley. I'm going to kick this off very quickly by just reflecting for a moment on the leadership model that we teach here at the Stanford Graduate School of Business. For those of you who have gone through the course that I teach with Brian Lowery, you know this model well. For those of you who haven't, I hope in the future maybe you'll dive into that course. But I want to talk about it just very quickly because it becomes the backbone of what Inbal is going to talk to you today about, which is relational leadership and a model for thinking about that. When Inbal and I started to collaborate along with our own Maggie Neal about thinking about how we might put the leadership model into practice, you will see one of the results of that when Inbal begins to speak. So very briefly, to remind those of you what this model is, but also, for those who haven't taken the class, to just hear what they are maybe for the first time. At its core, our leadership model involves self-awareness and developing self-awareness. What self-awareness means to us in the model is thinking about the extent to which we know ourselves. How do we know our own values? Do we know our emotions? Are we able to articulate our emotions in a meaningful way that might lead to action? And we often think about both internal self-awareness, that is, do we know ourselves, but also do we understand how others perceive us, and external self-awareness. Second is perspective taking. And I usually refer to this as perspective getting because human beings are terrible about stepping into the shoes of another person to take their perspective because we have so many biases baked into ourselves. So what perspective taking or perspective getting implies is not just trying to imagine what it's like to be another person, but to actually try to draw it out from them, to ask them good questions, to listen intently and actively. And you'll see that's going to be one of the things that becomes very obvious in some of what Inbal will speak about. Third is awareness of context. How does the context in all of its forms affect how we show up as leaders? That could be the proximate physical space. It could be the organizational culture or the team culture in which we are leading. It could also be the industry norms. It could be the broader socio-political environment and the global political environment. How do we get better at reading the room at all of those levels, understanding how to read what's going on in the context around us and to be reflective of how that impacts how we're leading. The fourth is holistic communications. We've had a lot during Me2We about holistic communications and communications. But when we talk about holistic communications, this doesn't just involve me, what I'm doing right now, projecting information out. It also is being aware of our nonverbal communication. Also, being sure that we are listening to others because communication is a two-way street fundamentally. And then finally, it has to do with decision making. And using data, using analysis, and thinking of structured ways to make very good decisions, and also to communicate those decisions effectively to those that we lead. It implies self-awareness and being aware of the biases that we have, perspective getting, understanding the biases of the team, awareness of the context. We all know that in rapid and uncertain times, some of our biases can become amplified when we're making decisions. So being aware of all of those as we think about the decisions that we all make as leaders. So with that, now that I've given you the theoretical piece of it, Inbal's going to show you what this looks like in action, talking about relational leadership. Please welcome Inbal.
Hi, everyone. Good morning. Welcome. It's nice to see you here on a very, very rainy day. And if you indulge me, I want to begin with a very brief story that actually is about how I got to be here on stage. So it takes about 10, 13 steps to get to where I'm standing here right now, but it also took 18 years. My journey at Stanford began by coincidence. 2 years after uprooting my life, putting my career on hold, moving to the US where I was a complete unknown, I decided to join a women's leadership program. Little did I know that that would change the trajectory of my career and my life. One of the facilitators of the program, an executive coach, she saw something in me that I could not yet see in myself. Because having gone through 2 major life changes, moving to a new country and becoming a new mom, those changes meant that I could no longer see myself in the person I used to be. But at the same time, I could not yet see who I was becoming. But she did. After the program was done, she invited me for coffee. And as we were chatting, she shared the reason why she wanted to talk. And it turns out that she thought I would be a great addition to the interpersonal dynamics, touchy-feely program here at Stanford. And she wanted my permission to put my name forward as a potential facilitator. When she said that, in my head, a path appeared about who I could become. 18 years later, I'm here on this stage as the co-instructor of a course called Coaching Skills for Effective Leadership, together with Sarah and Maggie Neal, who is not with us today, but she will make an appearance, I promise. And in this course, we try to teach leaders how to do the same for the people that you lead. Now, having someone see in me what I was not yet able to see in myself, having someone be able to see who I was becoming when I was still trapped behind these self-enforced fences of who I used to be, changed my life and my career beyond my wildest dreams. And since that day, I've committed, and I have been doing the same for the people I work with, from the MBA students that I work with, through the executives that I coach. And through the course that we developed, we hope to help you, leaders, do the same for the people you work with. Because if we're honest, the best leaders don't just steer companies into success and create financial success for their stakeholders, right? Really good leaders grow leaders. They grow the next generation of leaders. And they do that by being able to see the potential in each and every person that they lead, and through developing that potential. Now, I want to move it to you because you're the real stars of this week. And I'm going to have you do some work together in a moment. But before that, I want to set some rules of engagement. Someone is already reading the slides. I want to set some rules of engagement for how I want us to be with each other today. It's very cold and dreary outside, but it's kind of warm and cozy in here. And you're among friends. You're among your community of learners. You know, someone told me that in this auditorium, what they like about the stage is that the way the chairs are set up is that you feel like the audience is hugging you. And let me tell you, from where I'm standing, that's what it feels like. I feel hugged by you. So I invite you to embrace that embrace of this community as we go through the session. Okay, so rules of engagement. The first rule, they're Kurt Cobain. Come as you are. Do I need to explain it, or does everybody get it? Come as you are. Whatever that means for you today, at this moment, in this place, with these people. Whatever version of you is showing up today, that's the version that I invite you to bring in fully and completely. I want you to rest in the comfort of this learning community. I promise not to cause you any pain. The second rule is the Fight Club. What is the first rule of Fight Club? I can't hear you. What's the first? We don't talk about Fight Club. Confidentiality. What happens here stays here. You are free to share your own insights, your own thoughts coming out of the session, but you're going to engage with each other in a moment in some conversations. Please keep others' insights confidential between you. And then finally, The Hangover. Has everyone seen The Hangover trilogy? Okay. Some people are just afraid of admitting it, I think. So the Hangover rules means come through. And when I talk about come through, I'm talking about coming through for each other, showing up for each other to support each other in this learning journey, but also coming through for yourself. I promised the mic guy that I'm not going to tap on it. I know it's going to. I'm not going to make my promise. Showing up for others and showing up for yourself, taking care of your own learning needs. And with that, I want to move it on to you. So, by show of hands, who here wants to become an even better leader? Because I'm assuming you're already great leaders. That's great. It's great to hear because it turns out that 70% of the variance in team and employee engagement is determined by the relationship between the team, between the employees, and their managers, the direct leaders. Now, I want you to turn to the person on your left and take turns completing this sentence. What makes me a leader is, and I'm going to give you a couple of minutes to do it. And if you can't find a partner, look to another line. Okay, so that was the first question. On to the second one. Again, turn to the person on your left or whoever you were talking to before, and take turns completing this sentence. And I can be an even better leader if. Don't overthink it. Don't overthink it. I saw that, Dipti. Don't overthink it. Now let me ask you this. Let me ask you this. So if you know that you want to become an even better leader, and you have a sense of what it might take for you to reach that next level of your identity as leaders, what is coming in your way of doing it now? What is coming in your way of doing it now? Think about it. It takes two main things to change ourselves, to change others, to change themes, to change systems. That we need to take both things into consideration. First is that change happens through action. Okay? Change happens through action. We don't think our way into becoming who we want to be or who we think we could be. We act our way into becoming that next version of ourselves. And this is what Herminia Ibarra calls the outside principle. What the outside principle means is that change happens from the outside in. You know how we often get these well-meaning advice to reflect, to think deeply about who we are as leaders, as if we think deeply enough, we're going to birth, right, that leader inside of us. But instead, what she suggests and shows is that change happens from the outside in. By changing how we behave, by changing what we do and changing how we do it, we come to change our own minds. If any of you took Hagi Rao's course about organizational change, he talks about this too, right? Change behavior to change how people feel about change, okay? So the first part of it is change happens from the outside in. We act ourselves into becoming our next version of ourselves. Second, change starts with action. Reflection follows. So reflection can't be the first and only step, but reflection still plays a very important role. After we take action, we can reflect on what we did, assess whether it helped us get what we wanted to get, right? Did it help us achieve our goal? And based on that, we can adapt our behavior. So notice reflection, the purpose of reflection is to inform intentional action. Because if we only spend time reflecting on who we used to be, what are we going to end up? We're going to end up trapped, like I was in the story that I shared, trapped in who we are and who we were. Because how we think about who we are right now limits how we perceive our potential, who we could become. And then finally, she says that we become leaders by doing leadership. And this has two important components to it. So, by taking leadership action, others come to perceive us as potential leaders, right? They see our leadership potential. But what that does in return, when others perceive us as leaders, we start believing in ourselves as leaders. It reinforces our self-perception of ourselves as leaders, and that increases our motivation to engage in more leadership actions. So there is a virtuous cycle that happens here. By taking leadership actions, we come to be perceived by others for our leadership potential. We come to be perceived as leaders. And as we are perceived as leaders, we come to feel more. We integrate that leadership identity into our identity. And the more we feel like leaders, the more likely we are to do what? To lead, to act as leaders. So there is a virtuous cycle. The second thing that's important to talk about in relation to change is that change happens through relationships. We become who we are, and we come to learn who we are through our interactions with other people. And I'll give you an example. Have you ever said, I really like myself when I'm around this person? Show of hands. Right? Or the opposite, right? I really don't like who I become when I'm around this group of people. Not people in this room. Right? So what's going on? If we're the same person, how come we are so different between different contexts? It has to do with the people who are around us. We learn who we are through interacting with other people, through looking at how our actions and our words affect them. And this is really important, because what it means is that we change in relationship with others. And this means that the quality of our relationships at work determines both the quality of our work and our sense of well-being at work. And I'll explain it a little bit. So first of all, if we just look at the quality of our work, think about who do you go to at work when you feel like you're getting stuck, when you want perspective on something. Who do you go to? Bosses, colleagues, mentors, right? And what happens? When they provide us perspective, they help us do what? Move forward, right? And when we feel that we can move forward on a task that we really need to complete or that we really want to do, that's attached to our identity, right? It's attached to our professional identity, to our sense of agency, the belief that we can enact the outcomes we want to enact, and to our sense of self-efficacy, believing that we have the skills that it takes in order to complete our job. When we are able to do that, when we are able to complete the work that we need to complete, it reinforces our intrinsic motivation. You know what intrinsic motivation is, right? It's that motivation that ignites us from within. And it affects our sense of identity. And just like that virtuous cycle I talked about before, it ignites our self-identity as the leaders that we are, which motivates us to do even more. So that's the relation, the effect on the quality of our work. And then in terms of our well-being at work, again, who do you go to when you feel alone? When you want to commiserate? Again, same people, right? And why do you go to them? Because through those relationships, we get a sense of engagement. We get a sense that we're not alone. And when we feel like we're not alone, it gives us a better sense of fulfillment. It provides us a sense of belonging. And that sense of belonging gives us a sense of safety. We feel that we are not only fulfilled and can do our own job, but that we are contributing meaningfully to others' success as well. And that gives us meaning. Now, the next two bullet points touch directly on what this means to leadership. So I don't think I need to say this, but I will say it. Now, more than ever, the job of leaders is not about creating solutions. It's not about giving solutions, but because, to be honest, the types of challenges that we are all facing right now are not the type of challenges that there are, off-the-shelf solutions for. They're a different type of challenges, and I know you understand this because I've had some conversations with a few of you over the last few days where you told me about those types of challenges that you're dealing with. Being a leader now, especially more than ever, is about creating and holding space for complexity to resolve. When we lead through complexity, we can't pull a solution from what used to be, apply it, and expect that it will resolve. Because what will the old solutions do? Recreate the past. The old solutions are what got us here. So now more than ever, we really need to be honest with ourselves about what type of leadership is needed. And then second, that means that we need to lead with a different flavor of leadership. We need to lead with a type of leadership that allows us to see the potential. You're starting to see the threads here, right? See the potential in those we lead and help them develop that potential. But to be able to do that, we first need to build the types of relationships with them where they trust us enough, trust our intentions, where they are willing to show themselves to us, where they are willing to show us sides of themselves that they perhaps would not have otherwise. And we need to build the level of trust and psychological safety to the point where people feel engaged with us and they want to take our coaching. They want to hear from us because they trust that we have their best interest in mind. They trust that we see them. They trust that we know, understand their potential and their goals, and that we care about them enough that we will help them achieve them. So, I've talked about the importance of a coaching mindset, or leading with a coaching mindset, the importance of relational leadership to current challenges. And we've established that you all want to become even better leaders, right? So if we agree that coaching is an integral skill to leadership, how come more leaders are not using coaching skills? It turns out that the main reason is that managers don't feel equipped to do it. And we are far less likely to engage in behavior that we do not feel equipped to do. Are you going to get on a bicycle if you think you can't ride? No, right? What's going to happen? Right? That's unpleasant. Trust me, it happened to me, even though I know how to ride. Right? We are far less likely to engage in behavior that we don't feel equipped to do. Herminia Ibarra actually did a survey in one of the executive education programs that she teaches at INSEAD, and it turns out that 60% of the executives graduating from that program said that the one behavior they wish they could do more of as leaders is coach their employees. So what is coaching? I've talked about it, but I've not really defined it, and there are multiple different definitions. This is my definition. This is how I see coaching, and this is the definition that our course is based on. I will make the slides available to you. Feel free to take pictures if you want. Try to get my good side. I will make this, like, just give me a heads up so I can pose. I will make the slides available to you. So the way I see coaching is that coaching is fundamentally about behavior change. It's about fundamentally about behavior change. Anyone here who's worked with an executive coach, whether through Lead or privately, knows what I'm talking about. We go to coaches because we want to change. We want something to change. And as Jeffrey Pfeffer likes to say, everybody wants change, but nobody wants to change, right? So the goal of coaching is to help people unlock and unblock their potential to maximize their goal-oriented performance. So this is not about making people feel good. Actually, engaging in really deep coaching conversations. I know some of you here in the audience are coaches, so you probably know what I'm talking about. I'm looking at you, Pablo. Engaging in coaching conversations is not just about making people feel good. It's about helping people be effective. It's about developing their sense of agency. So the goal-oriented performance here, that's really critical. It's about helping them become a better version of who they are so they can achieve their goals based on their agenda. And coaching is done through three main things, for lack of a better word. First of all, coaching is a transformative relationship. It's a transformative relationships. And those of you who have been engaged in really good coaching relationships know what I'm talking about. We change as a result of that engagement, that coaching relationship. And one of the things that we've been hearing from the people taking our course is that they were expecting that as they lean more into coaching their employees, they will see change in their employees, right? We expect that if we're doing it right. But what they didn't expect and were pleasantly surprised by was that they themselves changed. So by engaging more in coaching activities with the people that they lead, they changed as leaders. Their perception of themselves as leaders expanded. Coaching evolves through conversations. Conversations are the modality of coaching. That's pretty self-explanatory, right? And then coaching, oops, that was a preview. And then coaching is a process. It evolves over time. It's not just one conversation, multiple conversations over time, because change takes time. Okay, now you know what's coming next, a horse. So this is Dylan. And Dylan is one of Maggie Neal's horses. He's actually one of her favorite horses. He's the horse that she usually rides. And Dylan is massive. He is about 6 foot tall. He's a big guy, very gentle and very sweet. Like Maggie likes to say, he's a good boy. And he's huge. So why am I bringing up horses now? Does anybody have an idea? I need just one person at a time. Yes?
Connect with somebody who likes horses.
That's one option. Yeah? What else? Pablo?
Riding a horse is a relationship between the horse and the rider.
Relationship between the horse and the rider. Yeah? You're coming close. Yeah?
It's a psychological therapy.
Yes. One more. Yeah?
I think this is also control, something that is bigger than you.
Oh, he's definitely bigger than me. You're going to see in a moment. Yeah.
So, I'm assuming if you use the whip and not the whip, what is it, the rein?
Harness. Yeah.
How to control without breaking his spirit? So
Yeah.
guide them in a way without
Yeah.
destroying them.
So okay, one last one.
Training with a horse is a two-way street.
Training with a horse is a two-way street. Yes. So horses are really special for many, many reasons. But one of the ways in which horses are special that makes them relevant here is that horses pick up intuitively and viscerally on the emotions of those around them, whether those around them are horses or human beings. They will pick up within a second whether they can trust you or not. And if they don't trust you, there's no relationship. If they trust you, they will follow you like puppies. And I'm not exaggerating, you'll see in a second. Like puppies, even though they're 6 foot tall. So horses are amazing partners for working on developing leadership. And that's what we did, and I'm going to show you. Okay, so this video, this is me. You can see like a wannabe cowgirl. The only part about me here in this video that resembles knowing what, pretending that I know what I'm doing is that cowboy hat, the Stetson. And even that I borrowed from Maggie Neal. And what you can't see, I think you might be able to see it, I'm wearing sneakers. Right? This is Texas rattlesnake country. In a horse arena, I'm wearing sneakers. Just to give you an idea of how clueless I am and how much of a novice I am. Now I'm going to play the video. The audio is not perfect. Again, it was taken on an iPhone on a wrench. There's some background noise. Even if you don't hear or don't understand, can't discern what's being said, I want you to pay attention to what's going on in the relational space between me and Dylan.
He's right here eating grass.
Isn't he gorgeous? And you can see how big he is standing next to me.
She said, turn left. Turn left. I know there's a horse there. Oh, it's so smart.
Notice what he's doing. He's like, what? Okay. Oops. Did you notice when we were connected, Dylan and I? I can hear you. Did you notice when we were connected? Did you notice when we disconnected? Right? Not just horses, humans too. We sense moments of connection and moments of disconnection. We know when connection happens and we know when connection breaks. What happened there was, as Maggie started talking to me and I started paying attention to what she was saying, I didn't realize that I was disconnecting from Dylan. He picked that up immediately, right? And you saw he was like, what is going on right now? And when he figured, okay, I'm not connected to anyone, he just went off on his own agenda, which is mostly eating grass. Some of you might have noticed that in these videos, my lips are moving constantly, even though you can't hear the audio. So Dylan and I are walking, and our heads are almost in complete alignment. And again, he is big, and I'm scared. But we're still doing it. And what I'm doing is we're walking. I've never been that close to a horse before. I don't ride horses. I don't know how to work with horses, right? So we're walking, and our heads are literally almost completely side by side. And as we're walking, I'm talking to him. I'm whispering in his ear, the ear that's closer to me. And I'm telling him that we know what we're doing. We're going to be okay. He can trust me. And I'm also thanking him. I'm thanking him for being patient with me. And I'm thanking him for teaching me how to be in a relationship with him. Because he is an expert on human beings, right? He's Maggie's horse. You all know Maggie, she's amazing. He knows how to be in a relationship with human beings. I don't know how to be in a relationship with horses. So I had to rely on him to teach me. So I was thanking him for showing me how to be in a relationship with me. And again, this is true about humans as well. People tell us how to be in relationship with them. All we have to do is listen. We need to listen to what they're saying. We need to listen to how they're showing up. We need to listen to those points of connection and those points of disconnection and try to maintain connection, to stay engaged. Now, if this is what Dylan and I could do in less than 5 minutes, and within less than 10 minutes of meeting each other for the first time, if we can get to that level of alignment, with me being terrified, yeah? Imagine what you could do if you were able to build connection with the people you work with the people you lead, people in your life. Imagine what would be possible. So the relational aspect of coaching makes it an integral part of leadership. And again, this is true especially now. It's always been true, but it has never been more true given the types of challenges that we are all facing nationally, globally, within organizations, within teams. And I want to give you just 3 examples of the way that the relational aspect of coaching can help with leadership. First of all, through that relationship, it helps foster a sense of engagement. And all of you probably know this. Engaged employees are more likely to experience higher well-being at work. 30% reduced levels of work-related stress. 30%. And you know that stress is associated with absenteeism, quitting, etc. They're far less likely to quit their jobs, and they're overall more likely to experience just global well-being at work. The relational component of coaching and leading with a coaching mindset can help you have the types of conversations that you need to have with the people you lead. The types of conversations where they come to you with a question and you don't have an answer because things are so complex, so emergent, change happens so fast that there are no answers. And the only answer is to find a process that you can use in order to start to gradually make sense of what's happening so you can figure out what to do, right? Complexity cannot be resolved by shelf-top solutions. It needs to be held in a space that helps solutions emerge. And then finally, and this is a really important one, and I'm going to share with you an example, that relational aspect of coaching, when we lead with a coaching mindset and using coaching skills, it helps build resilience, both at an individual level and at an organizational level. We recently enrolled a group of HR leaders in the course. They're going through it as a cohort. And the reason they're taking the course is that their organization is going through massive change. Like their entire HR system is being completely overhauled. They need to implement a completely new HR system with leaders who feel reluctant to change and frankly exhausted by the scope of changes that they need to do. And so this group joined the course as a group with the hope that by learning coaching skills, they'd be better positioned to help the leaders, the stakeholders that they work with, support them through this change. And what we've been hearing back from them, they're about midway through the course, what we've been hearing back from them is that going through the course reinforced their sense of hope. Isn't that amazing? Their sense of hope. They're going through massive changes. The changes that they're going through are now also affected by what's going on nationally and internationally. Executive orders. Two pieces that are helpful for them to create and maintain hope. One is hope through agency, through feeling that they know how to engage with their stakeholders in order to support them through the change. And second is change through connection. Because they're going through the course as a cohort, they feel that they have other people that they can talk to using the shared language that they're learning in the course, using the same techniques, they can use them on each other. And that has been giving them a sense of hope through connection. I want to say a word here about our goal, because some of you might be thinking, oh, this is a course that teaches coaches. But that's not so. Our goal is not to educate coaches. There are enough programs who do that already. You can pick whichever one you want. Our goal is to help leaders like you become even better leaders by applying a coaching mindset and using coaching skills. Because we truly believe that is the skill set that is needed right now for leaders to be able to traverse the types of challenges that we're facing. Now, most coaching models were designed for professional coaches. Our model is different. It's called Effect. Again, I will share the slides. and it is based on practice. It is based and grounded on our decades of combined work with leaders, and it is research-backed. Effect stands for engage, frame, explore, commit, and test, not text, which hopefully you're not doing right now. And it's a circular process, right? So we come back to the different stages as we go through the coaching relationship. Let me talk you through the stages real quickly. So the engage stage is the stage where we come together. We set goals, we clarify our intention, clarify expectations, establish trust, and set rules of engagement, like we did earlier today. Next comes the frame stage. And during the frame stage, we start framing the problem. We help the person that we're coaching frame the problem or the issue that they're coming to us with. And the importance of this is that the way we frame the problem often limits how we think about potential solutions. That's one of the reasons why the frame stage is so important. Next, the explore stage. During this stage, we support the person we're coaching through exploring as many possible potential solutions as they can. And this involves shifting their mindset a little bit, expanding their perspectives so they can consider solutions that they might have not thought about. During the commit stage, they choose one specific course of action and consider the potential implications of it. And during the test stage, the coachee executes on that course of action and assesses, that's why we call it test. They assess whether that course of action really achieved the goal that they wanted to achieve. Now, usually, this would be the time where I would put you in pairs or small groups and have you coach each other. Or I could bring someone on stage and do a coaching demo. But But I'm not going to be that cruel. Instead, we're going to go back to Dylan. So this is Maggie standing between Dylan and me. You see that she knows what she's doing. She's dressed like she knows what she's doing, and she actually does know what she's doing. And I'm going to play the video. And again, even if you can't hear the audio, I want you to notice what's happening. And this is unedited and raw. You will see our mistakes. You will see Maggie's leg get caught in the rope, and she almost trips over it. Coaching is not clean and nice and pretty all the time, but we work through it.
Now what are you asking them to do? Are you in follow? Okay, so what happens is...
Notice she's asking me, what do you want him to do? What is my goal? What is the problem I'm trying to solve? And then she guides me on how to do it, right? She tells me how. She literally holds my body and shows me, because with horses you have to use your body to communicate. She shows me how to stand in relationship with him, so he does what I ask him to. So now he's doing what I want him to do, and I'm like on cloud nine. Yeah, I did it, I learned. Watch what happens next. Oh. Watch what happens next.
You want him to do something he's not doing. Okay. Don't keep saying go. Because that just makes it dull. So kind of gives it the center of you, pushing out.
You all know Maggie, she's an amazing teacher, right? I'm not such a good student here. Notice what's happening. When he's not clear which one of us to engage with, he disconnects and goes on his own business. Yeah, at some point you really needed to move me. But he's doing what we want him to do. He's doing what I want him to do. Mistake, she helps me correct it. And here we go again. Are you identifying the stages of engage in this video? Right? So what is the real challenge here? What is the real challenge here?
That's where you lead.
Act at the same time. What else? Yes. Sorry?
Like training you, like instructing you, like you are unable to spot it.
Yeah.
They're coaching you.
Yeah. So there's Maggie coaching me, but then things happen through my relationship with Dylan. And it might seem like the challenge here is for me to learn the activities, right? The actions, the movements I need to do with my body, with my hands, with that rope, in order to get him to do what I want him to do. But the real challenge here, the adaptive challenge here, is for me to be able to build a type of relationship with Dylan where he wants to engage with me, he wants to listen to me, and he wants to follow my instructions. Now, you've heard me talk about a coaching mindset, and this is what I mean when I talk about it. So coaching mindset takes two things. First, adopting a dual growth mindset. I'll talk about what that is in a moment. And then adopting a coaching mindset. And a dual growth mindset is the belief that you can change yourself and change your environment. So a growth mindset is the belief that we can change ourselves. That change comes from effort and persistence, consistency. Dual growth mindset means that we believe that we can also change our environment. Changing our job. So for example, if I really enjoy event planning, I might take on the job of planning all the events for my team. And then adopting a coaching mindset. A coaching mindset rests on the belief that the coachee is capable, resourceful, agentic, and capable of change. So we need to believe not just that we are capable of change, but we need to believe the same about the people that we coach. As you can see, Dylan and I were able to build a relationship. This is a deep sign of trust. When a horse comes to you in this way and hands their head to you to scratch, it's a sign of trust. All of you know this statue from the GSB, right? What I really like about it is that it captures two important dimensions of change. The first is that change is constant. It's constant. Things are constantly changing. And then the second is that change happens simultaneously at a systemic and at a specific level. For that big picture to change as it does constantly, each single one of these little flippy thingies needs to change. For our teams to change, for our organizations to change, for our role to change, each of us needs to change. Now I'm gonna invite Sarah back because we have a special announcement. As you're reading this
I was
slide.
busy photographing you.
Do you want to make the announcement?
You make the announcement.
You make
You
the,
make the
I've
announcement.
talked enough.
No, you
Your
make
turn.
the announcement.
No, you.
Oh, okay. Ta-da! Because of the LEAD 10th anniversary that we're all here celebrating, there's going to be a very special offer if you're interested in taking the course. And you will be able to learn, as we always do in LEAD, with a special cohort of our LEAD participants only, and take part in going through the course that Maggie, Inbal, and I have put together. So there's going to be some details that will be shared out soon in the coming weeks about how to sign up and if you're interested. But it is, again, to celebrate both what we've accomplished in 10 years and to celebrate the broader network of people who contribute to LEAD as a community and as a learning engagement. So stay tuned for more details to come shortly. And thank you so much for your attention and for coming to Me2We. And I know that I will see you later today at the party and on the faculty panel as well. And stay well.
Thank you. Thank you, everyone.